Hey everybody, today we got another Friday, and another Friday is another chapter of My Hero Academia. This time we have chapter 229, and honestly, this is probably a really good twice chapter. So, this chapter starts off where chapter 228 ended with them yanking the hood off of Mask off of Twice, and we see a group of puppets actually beating up and jumping up on Twice, and we see that they now mind you this all seems so weird. They start to like run down Toga, and they start to like ripping like stuff off of her, and I'm getting like the weirdest vibe here. Like I'm reading, I'm like, what the hell? I'm like sitting, I'm really trying to process what's actually going on, but I think like two or three of the puppets are holding down Twice, while the other ones turns out nothing weird like how I was thinking at first. But while they're holding them down, we actually found out that they found that they um that they found out about Twice and his psychological problems because of Garan. And when they stole his notes and stuff when they all kidnapped him or whatever. And we see that they're not trying to like on some weird stuff. And again, the next time they even showed Toga, like they got her like positioned really weird, like really suggestive. But what they're trying to do is like snap her neck, and so they like picking her up in like this weird position while one of them like starts to twist her head, and the other one just like holds her up. But they could have easily just you know snapped her neck like without lifting her up or none of that stuff. But um Twice he starts to fall apart. He's like, I'm killing Toga, and he's like, but I'm here and I'm killing Toga. I see myself killing Toga, and he's like, am I not myself? Am I a clone? And he starts to like really freak out and stuff like that. And then that's when we go into his backstory and we find out he says, I live alone and I have no family, and all his problems, his descent into like villainy, all started when he was 16 and he had um it started with one bad day, and the bad day, and that's actually the name of this chapter is called All It Takes Is One Bad Day. And if you don't know the author, he's like super big on comic book references and stuff, and this is actually a reference to the Killing Joke when the Joker he tries to turn Batman. No, he tries to turn James Gordon insane, and his thing is his line is that all it takes is one bad day for somebody to go insane. But it starts off Twice as saying he lives alone, and from the beginning he was always scary looking, so people already feared him and stuff like that. So he didn't really have any friends, and it starts off with him in a police interrogation room, and he's basically being told that, yeah, you hit somebody on your bike and you're probably gonna get like a record for it or whatever. And he's telling them, he's like, but I wasn't in the wrong. I was actually going the speed limit, and then dude ran into me. And he's like, yeah, but the guy's arm is broken, and he's pissed off. And it also seems like before this, Twice was a journalist because his boss like hits him or something or whatever he is. He just has like a badge around his neck, which makes me think of a journalist, but he's probably like a factory worker or something. But he's like, because of that guy he hit, turns out that the boss knew him or something, and he says he won't actually do business with him anymore. So Twice essentially loses his job, and he's all alone and really without anything at all. And he gets so alone, in fact, that starved of human connection, he copies himself using his quirk, and he just starts to have conversations with himself. And we actually see that when he uses his quirk, it's like mud comes out of it. That clay that you see when, if you watch the anime, that clay that you see when Azawa breaks the clone Dabi's arm. He basically, yeah, he has like this amount of clay that comes out of both of his hands, And from there, he starts like once he cloned himself, he started making trouble. He started stealing stuff all across the country, all across the country. And he says eventually he lost the ability to even trust himself. So he's like now he has no one to talk to and stuff like that. And that's when Garan comes around him. He has a bag on his head. He says he needs the bag, so he's not gonna split. And Garan is basically the one who tells him like if you can't trust yourself and it seems like all your problems stem from being like alone, then you should get friends. You know, someone you should get some people that can trust you. And from then on, that's how Twice actually ended up in the League of Villains, and how he ended up with his friends, his family that he cherished very much. And from there, we go down to he tries to break free from the actual, tries to break free from the puppets that are holding him down and stuff. And this kind of pisses the guy off who's controlling him, and he starts like beating up on Twice. And he's like, if you're not gonna like comply, go down easily, then I'm gonna beat your ass. Now Twice knows that if he takes too much damage, or if any of his clones take too much damage, they turn into mush. They break down and they essentially become you know nothing. Now the whole point up until this point, he's never known if he was a clone or not. Well, I've known because I feel like if he had the scar, he got cut. I feel like that would be enough to turn him back. But yeah, maybe it's not. So they they start to beat on him, like really start to beat on him. And early in the story, Twice mentions that it usually takes like breaking an arm or something to actually break one of his doubles. They start to beat on him, and then the dude's like really getting into it, I guess. And he's like, yeah, grab his arms, break him, break him, breaks both of his arms, and Twice starts like screaming out in pain. And then they're like, next, break his legs or whatever. And he's like, it hurts, it hurts. He's going over and over on Melchers, it hurts. But then he has the realization like it hurts, and like he's crying, but he's so happy. He's so happy because he's never known if he was actually the real him or if he was just a double that survived or not. And he's always been afraid of, because it was essentially putting his life on the line to find out, like it's like if you think you might if you think you might be bulletproof, you have to put your life on the line to like actually get shot. And he's not going to put the gun in his head and pull the trigger. So up until now, he's always been scared to fight. He doesn't really get into any fights. He works from behind the scenes and stuff like that. But now that he knows he's actually the real him, he's super happy. This is when he breaks out this barrage of clones and stuff like that. And that made me wonder. When he made a bunch of themselves, they're probably gonna do this in the next chapter. He's probably gonna be like, yeah, here's some Dobbies, here's some Shigarakis and stuff like that. But I probably would have started with like a clone of like Dobby or something and be like, yeah, Dobby, blow them away, burn them all away and stuff like that. But he is fighting himself, so I guess it's symbolic in a way. But that's when he breaks out. He's like, move aside, you fakes. I would never kill a friend. Like he's like, I know that's not me. And he's like, my quirk double. It's about time you saw how terrifying it can actually be. Talking to the Liberation Army, and that's where this chapter ends. Again, it's a great chapter, and it's going off the fact of that comic book, The Killing Joke, where all it takes is one bad day, to drive somebody insane. But in terms of um in terms of Twice, I don't think it was more so it was more than one day, but we see that it took that one incident of somebody casting him down and like making him the bad guy, and it just all trickled down from there, and it made him go insane. But This was a great chapter. If you actually made it this far in the video, thank you. If you liked anything I had to say, like me, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. And if you got something funny, like a joke or something, that's not me. But uh, leave it in the comment section. And wherever you are, anywhere in this world, have a great day and peace.